Red Army soldiers inspect captured German equipment during fighting on September 19, 1941. Riga, the capital of Latvia, lies heavily damaged on October 3, 1941, after German forces occupy the city. Soviet civilians are executed by German forces near Velizh in the Smolensk region during occupation operations. A Finnish troop train passes wreckage from earlier sabotage operations on October 19, 1941. Burned buildings mark the fierce fighting as German forces enter the industrial city of Rostov on the lower Don River. General Heinz Guderian, commander of Panzergruppe II, speaks with tank crews on the Eastern Front on September 3, 1941. German soldiers remove Soviet national symbols during their advance eastward on July 18, 1941. A displaced family leaves Minsk on August 9, 1941, after German forces enter the city. German reconnaissance photographs show Leningrad from siege lines on October 1, 1941. Soviet armored vehicles moved toward the front on October 19, 1941, in an effort to halt German advances. Colonel General Ernst Busch inspects anti-aircraft gun positions in Germany on September 3, 1941. Finnish soldiers assault a Soviet bunker on August 10, 1941, as one defender surrenders. German troops advance through a burning Leningrad suburb on November 24, 1941. Soviet prisoners captured during early Barbarossa operations on July 7, 1941, march into captivity. The D-Day invasion landed 133,000 Allied troops on 5 Normandy beaches under intense fire on June 6, 1944, with over 4,000 casualties. The Battle of the Bulge caught Allied forces by surprise in Belgian forests, with more than 19,000 U.S. troops killed. The Battle of Stalingrad became the deadliest battle in history, with brutal urban fighting claiming 1,100,000 Soviet lives. The siege of Leningrad lasted 900 days, with starvation killing close to 1 million civilians. World War II began with Germany's invasion of Poland in September 1939, killing 65,000 Polish soldiers. At Iwo Jima, 5th Division Marines fought through volcanic black sand beaches under constant fire, with 6,800 Americans killed. The Battle of Berlin ended the war in Europe with approximately 80,000 Soviet and 300,000 German casualties. The fall of Singapore in 1942 saw 130,000 Allied soldiers surrender, marking the largest surrender in British military history. The F-2. A Brewster Buffalo performed poorly as a carrier fighter and was nicknamed the Flying Coffin at Midway. The Fiat CR-42. Falco biplane entered service in 1939 as an outdated fabric-covered fighter, soon outpaced by Spitfires. The Leigh GG-3 gained a poor reputation among Soviet pilots due to its heavy resin-impregnated construction and limited speed. After the evacuation at Dunkirk, British forces withdrew across the Channel, leaving most heavy equipment behind and making an invasion appear feasible to German planners. Hermann Göring claimed the Luftwaffe could defeat the Royal Air Force within weeks, beginning the air campaign known as the Battle of Britain. German planners gathered hundreds of river barges for the invasion, relying on tugboats rather than purpose-built landing craft. A German soldier approaches a destroyed Soviet BT-7 tank and a fallen Red Army soldier during the early stages of Operation Barbarossa in 1941. Operation Barbarossa begins on June 22, 1941, as German forces invade the Soviet Union and Soviet artillery responds along the front. German half-tracks and armored units assemble in preparation for the Eastern Offensive on July 21, 1941. A German armored vehicle crewman sits inside his half-track during the advance into Soviet territory in August 1941. German infantry observed Soviet positions from trenches before advancing deeper into occupied territory on July 10, 1941. German Ju-87. Stuka dive bombers fly toward targets in southern Soviet regions during the autumn of 1941. German troops crossed the Don River in assault boats as part of the drive toward the Caucasus region. Horse-drawn wagons move across makeshift corduroy roads in the Arctic terrain near Salla on the Kola Peninsula in October 1941. A German sentry stands guard as a bridge burns behind him across the Dnieper River in the recently captured city of Kiev in 1941. Red Army machine gun crews defend their positions during the German invasion of 1941. A German bomber, its engine ablaze, falls from the sky during fighting in November 1941. The Krumlauf curved barrel attachment allowed firing around corners but suffered extreme wear and limited effectiveness. Germany abandoned long-range bomber development, leaving strategic bombing prototypes incomplete in favor of tactical aircraft. The Schwerer Gustav railway gun, weighing 1,350 tons, fired only 47 rounds before becoming impractical at Sevastopol. The wind cannon experiment attempted to use compressed air to disrupt aircraft, but proved ineffective against fast-moving targets. Soviet anti-tank dogs were deployed with explosives, but often failed, sometimes running under Soviet tanks instead. Japanese balloon bombs crossed the Pacific using jet streams, but caused minimal damage, with most falling harmlessly. The Battle of Okinawa saw 60,000 Marines land in April 1945, facing fierce combat and kamikaze attacks that killed over 12,000 Americans. U.S. Marines advance into Naha, Okinawa's capital, during one of the Pacific War's bloodiest battles that killed over 12,000 Americans. Marines positioned themselves on a hill overlooking Naha, seeking Japanese positions during the fierce 82-day battle for Okinawa. U.S. tanks with flamethrowers attacked Japanese cave positions during Okinawa in May 1945, facing fanatical resistance and kamikaze attacks. American tanks assault Japanese bunker positions during the Battle of Okinawa in spring 1945, encountering fierce underground defensive networks. Infantry soldiers watch from trenches as American tanks roll toward Japanese positions on Okinawa during the costly island invasion. Smoke rises from shell bursts behind Japanese lines as American forces advance across Okinawa during one of the war's deadliest battles. Tank-borne infantry of the 29th Marines moved to take Guta on Okinawa on April 1, 1945, beginning the bloody campaign. The Okinawa sun casts shadows of the 6th Division Marines on a battle-wrecked amphibious vehicle as they mop up southern Okinawa in 1945. German troops lie concealed in undergrowth during fighting before the capture of Kiev in 1941. The streets of Rostov show heavy destruction as German forces enter the contested city in late 1941. Soviet prisoners march toward German rear areas under guard on July 2, 1941. Civilians salvage belongings from burning homes during scorched earth destruction in a Leningrad suburb in October 1941. Reindeer graze near a Finnish airfield on July 26, 1941, as a German aircraft takes off during joint operations. Heinrich Himmler inspects a prisoner of war camp in occupied Soviet territory during the early occupation period in 1940 to 41. German authorities claimed the capture of 650,000 Soviet prisoners during encirclement battles at Bryansk and Vyazma in November 1941. Adolf Hitler studied the Eastern Front map with General Field Marshal Walter von Brauchitsch and Chief of Staff Franz Halder in August 1941. German troops, supported by armored personnel carriers, advanced through a burning Soviet village during Operation Barbarossa. A Soviet 203mm howitzer M1931 stands concealed on the front line on September 15, 1941. German advances increasingly face guerrilla resistance behind the front lines as partisan forces mount fierce resistance. Columns of Soviet prisoners taken during fighting in Ukraine moved toward prison camps on September 3, 1941. German mechanized units pause at Staritsa, Russia, on November 21, 1941, before continuing operations. German infantry forced their way into a sniper position during fighting on September 1, 1941. Soviet prisoners of war stand beside a destroyed Lenin statue during the German advance. German officers interrogate a captured Soviet colonel on October 24, 1941. Flames rise over Smolensk as German forces enter the city in Central Soviet Union in August 1941. Trainloads of Soviet prisoners were transported westward to prison camps on October 3, 1941. Russian snipers emerge from concealment in a wheat field on August 27, 1941, watched by German soldiers. German infantry in heavy winter gear march near Moscow in November 1941 as conditions worsen. Operation Tannenbaum was Germany's unexecuted plan to invade Switzerland, prepared but never launched. Operation Bagration, launched in 1944, saw 2.3 million Soviet troops destroy 3 German army groups and inflict catastrophic losses. Operation Wikinger resulted in German destroyers mistakenly attacking one another in the North Sea in 1940.